Welcome to my analysis as review of the Reindeer Vaart theater scene of the movie Get Santa. It's been Christmas and I have watched the movie Get Santa for the very first time. I enjoyed the movie a lot and I really like it. What makes the movie so good in my opinion is that it's an actual Christmas movie. A movie that is really about Santa Claus instead of just romance, for example. And that at the same time it has a special story attached to it instead of a usual Christmas story. When it comes to Christmas movies, I prefer a movie that's really about Santa Claus rather than about just a couple falling in love during Christmas time, for example. But I also like it if the story has something special. And that's exactly what Get Santa has. The entire storyline is focused on Santa Claus, but instead of nothing beginning impossible for Santa Claus and everyone believing in him, he shows up unexpectedly. He ends up in jail because things don't go as easily as in usual Christmas stories. Nobody believes he is Santa Claus, and the child with his father, who himself just came out of prison, has to help Santa Claus in order to save Christmas. This is what makes this Christmas movie really special for me. It's really about Santa Claus instead of other things that happen around Christmas time, but on the same time the storyline is very special and unique from usual Christmas stories. So I really enjoy this movie and recommend everyone to watch it once it's Christmas time again. Or sooner if you always love Christmas like me. It's really great. Although I like the whole movie, there is one fragment in the movie that has really stayed with me and where I would like to give my analysis and review about. This is because it's a really great fragment that has a lot of different emotions, which makes it really nice and impressive. In my opinion, it's one of the best fragments of the whole movie. I will now show you which fragment I mean exactly, and after that I will give my analysis / review about it.
This is your last chance.
Mummy! Mummy, look!
I said to you to stay in the field, didn't I? It's okay, everyone. It's just part of the show. Come on. Tom, go in the theatre. Go in the theatre.
Dad, what's going on? Dad, what are we doing?
All right, mate.
What a great fragment. I really like it. What makes this fragment so great in my opinion are several things. Steve just got a call from his parole officer who told him that this is his last chance to return to home, and exactly on that moment a stolen reindeer appeared in the city full of people, and one child even told his mom about it. On one hand, this makes the fragment very funny, because it's a funny display and scenario that the reindeer is certainly walking in a city full of people. You don't expect to see a reindeer walking in a city full of people. And the second thing that makes it funny is the fact that the reindeer actually followed Steve and Tom to the city. It seems that the reindeer is very smart. This funny part is transient on the moment Steve says to him, "I said to you to stay in the field," because he talks to him as if he would actually understand his words. And right at that moment there are many people around him. This part really makes me laugh and think, what must these people be thinking? If I were them, I would be surprised anyway that a reindeer appears in a city full of people. But when even a man starts talking to the reindeer like it's his dog or child, I would really think I ended up in a dream. So the combination of the funny sudden appearance of the reindeer in the city, and the way how Steve talks to the reindeer with other people around him, including the details, the words he is saying, makes this fragment really funny in my opinion. It's really my most favorite part of the fragment and it cannot be missed in my opinion. And one more thing, I don't know if a lot of people who are watching the movie notice it, but on the moment Steve is talking to the reindeer is farting, and although this is a small and somewhat less remarkable part of the fragment, it adds a better laugh effect to the fragment in my opinion, because this is something which is completely random and unexpected, as it does not have anything to do with the situation itself. And besides that it's a funny fragment, the fragment also has something very exciting in my opinion. This is because the reindeer is actually stolen. Even though Steve and Tom do it for Santa and with a good intention, nobody's going to believe that, since that's also the reason that Santa himself is in jail in this movie. So the fact that the reindeer suddenly appears in a city full of people, at the time that Steve is already in trouble, he just got called by his parole officer that this is his last chance to return to home, makes the fragment very exciting, as everything can go wrong from this moment. If the police and this parole officer find out about the reindeer, Steve will definitely go to jail, and probably for longer, because it's a new crime, and the plan to help Santa to save Christmas will completely fall apart. And the reindeer in a city full of people is a logical appearance, as I just told, and that makes it very funny, but it also adds a lot of tension to the fragment, as this could be a very good reason for people to call the police. And after Steve spoke to the reindeer, even a police car drove by, and this part of the fragment has increased the tension. From a very funny fragment with a little bit of tension, it changed in a very exciting fragment full of tension, and I was thinking, oh no, now Steve is really in trouble. Hopefully this ends well, and it really left me on the edge of my seat. When this happened, Steve panicked and told everyone that this is part of the show. On one hand, I think this is a very smart idea of Steve, because the police were already aware of Steve, Tom and the reindeer earlier in the movie, so Steve really needed to get out of there immediately before he was noticed by the police. And normally that would be a clear indication for the people that something is not right and that the reindeer is indeed stolen, because there would be no other reason to run away for the police. So I think it's a smart idea of Steve to tell everyone it's part of the show, and he was just lucky that they were near a theater. Maybe that makes it believable for the people, but on the other hand, Steve said it with a very panicked voice, and I am afraid that it sounds very suspicious to the people. So on one hand, I felt some relief when Steve did this and ran to the theater with Tom and the reindeer, but on the other hand, the tension remained because of the last thing. He actually should have said it with less stress in his voice. The fact he said it in a panicked way remained the tension a fragment for me, and the feeling that they would be arrested at any moment. Once they entered the theater, the tension increased again, because the staff at the theater should know that Steve, Tom and the reindeer don't belong to them or any of the shows, so I really got the feeling that they would be caught at any moment. When they finally get out of the theater and were dressed up like real actors, the tension started to fade because none of the staff caught them, and now they were finally safe outside. From this moment on, the people in the city will definitely see them as actors, and even the police will probably don't recognize them anymore, or the suspicious situation itself, because they were dressed up like it's actually a show. So on this moment I got a safe feeling and I felt a lot of relief. In my opinion, this part is the most relieving part of the fragment. I really like it that the fragment have a lot of different emotions and feelings. It's funny because of multiple things, it's exciting and have tension from the beginning, then there is a little bit relief, then it gets even more exciting, and finally there is a lot of relief. It's really a great fragment in my opinion, and I enjoyed it a lot. The combination of the things I just mentioned makes it one of my most favorite fragments of the whole movie, and also one of the actual best parts of the movie if I would have to do a recommendation. Great work, my compliments to the makers.